I'm Louisa Shafia on ehow.com, and it's hot in the kitchen today. We're making butternut squash and black bean chili with all kinds of spices. So here we go. I've got lots of warming fall flavors here, and the base of my chili, where all the flavor is going to come from, is some onion and garlic. So I have a hot pan here. I'm putting a little bit of olive oil into my pan, and I'm going to start out by caramelizing my onions. Ooh, I love that sound. So caramelizing the onions really brings out the sweetness, kind of gives them a deep flavor, and this is a really nice foundation for the chili. The cool thing about this chili is that it's totally vegetarian. I'm going to add some garlic to my onions now. Just let that cook a little bit on its own. Usually when you get chili, it's got meat in it, and that is really tasty. But this one doesn't even need meat because it's got black beans in it. Beans are full of protein, they're full of fiber, they're really rich and satisfying. So you can make a great chili that's vegetarian. Okay, now I'm going to add in my butternut squash that I diced. Butternut squash is naturally sweet, so it's giving my chili a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of color. I'm going to have nice bright orange chunks when this is finished. Now I'm adding some uncooked rice. I've got about 2 cups there, and the rice really helps to give the chili body and heft, so it's really satisfying. So by sauteing my dry rice in here, I'm just helping it to get some of the other flavors. I'm going to go ahead and add in my black beans now, and I love black beans. I like any excuse to cook with them, but you could use whatever bean you like. Okay, so now for my spices. This is a really important part of making chili. I'm adding some oregano. I had some fresh oregano around. You can use dry in here, that's just fine. I'm going to add a whole bunch of chili powder. Now, chili powder is actually a combination of different spices. It's chili powder, it's cumin, it's coriander, it's allspice, but it's really what gives chili that iconic red color and that chili taste. Now I'm putting in some cumin. This is really warming. It also helps you to digest beans, so this is a really good idea to add some cumin to your chili every time you make it. And these are some Mexican flavors in here. Cumin's used a lot in Mexican cooking, so is chili powder. Okay, I'm adding a pinch of cloves. This is going to give my chili a little bit of a sweet taste. And same for cinnamon. I'm just adding a pinch. And as your chili cooks, as it goes along, you can taste it. If you want to add more of anything, do. Okay, so I'm going to make this into a thick stew. My liquid in here is water. That's what I'm starting out with. I'm also going to add some dark beer. You could use a porter, you could use a pilsner. But what the beer does in here is it's an acid, so it kind of sparks all the other flavors in the chili and brings them alive. And as it cooks, that beer flavor really mellows, and it's kind of sweet and kind of smoky. Same for vinegar. I'm adding some vinegar in here also to spark the flavors. This is another acid. I'm using white wine vinegar, but you could use balsamic, you could use apple cider vinegar, anything would work. And I'm also going to sweeten this with some maple syrup. A lot of times people will add sugar to chili. A little bit of sweetness really helps set off the flavors. Since I like to try to use more natural sweeteners that are less processed, I'm doing maple syrup. You could also add honey. You could add molasses. That's another classic chili ingredient. And of course I want some salt in here. So this is really coming together. This is a great, simple dish. And once you cook it, you can have this in the fridge on hand for a week. And I'm going to bring this to a boil, and then I'm going to let it simmer. And I want to let this cook for at least 3 hours so the flavors really marry and come together, and my chili thickens up. And when it's finished, it looks like this. So this is thick and rich. You can see all the different textures in here from the rice and the beans and the squash. It smells really warm. It's got that cinnamon and cloves in the background. Now, a classic topping for chili is grated cheese or sour cream. I'm gonna use some thick Greek yogurt on here. It's a little bit healthier, but it's just as rich and thick, so it's gonna give me that fattiness to really balance all the spiciness of the chili. This is a great dish for fall, for lunch, for a tailgating party, or for a family dinner. I hope you'll try making it. I'm Louisa Shafia. I'll see you next time on ehow.com.